Our elected officials are no strangers to sex scandals, but this one is cheeky, and I mean literally. It turns out that a Democrat Senate staffer was caught having graphic sex with older Bear partner in the Capitol office building. We have this story and so much more coming up on the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and as I mentioned, we are talking about some cheeky business, and in this case, the cheeks of one of the Senate staffers who was caught having graphic sex with an older Bear partner in the Capitol office building. I won't show you the video because I find it to be too obscene, but it is anal penetration and it is pornographic. The Democratic senator deserves to be in some serious hot water after one of his staffers was caught engaging in a highly inappropriate and explicit act in the halls of Congress. This story from thegatewaypundit.com. The Spectator broke the explosive story Friday that a young male staffer from Maryland, Senator Ben Cardin, engaged in multiple graphic sex acts with his older boyfriend in the Hart Senate office building. The so-called halls of Congress play a host to plethora of indecent acts every day, but one staffer for Senator Ben Cardin is taking it to new levels. On his public Twitter account of the audacious young twink is comprised almost solely of him in flagrant delicto with his older Bear partner. The images and videos are explicit. Now, I'll save you the time and the effort because, again, they are absolutely adult rated. They did have actual penetrative anal sex on the tables of the Senate building. When you come home with a pink eye or chlamydia and you swear to your partner, I just went to work, I didn't do anything bad. Well, maybe it's because somebody had wiped their genitals on your chair. And I know it's graphic. I know it's disgusting. I'm not going to show you the video, but you shouldn't be surprised when it comes to our members of Congress. Now, this is kind of ironic because as Jim Hoff reported, don't forget that it was Representative Madison Cawthorn reacts to the Capitol's gay sex scandal following his previous revelations about DC orgies. Now, Cawthorn was pushed out of Congress, and it says here that former Representative Madison Cawthorn has made headlines again, this time in reaction to a scandal involving a Capitol staffer. A young male staffer from Maryland Democrat Senator Ben Cardin was terminated following allegations of engaging in graphic sexual acts. Now, it's not allegations, this is true. In the Hart office building, the staffer Aiden Mays Zeropsky, a recent college graduate, denied the allegations, claiming they are politically motivated and fabricated. But Madison Cawthorn said, I told you so. Now, this isn't shocking as Madison Cawthorn questioned the orgies and the cocaine-fueled parties. Now, I'm from Los Angeles, and we just called that a Friday back when I was a young adult. But the truth of the matter is that we should hold our elected officials to at least the standard of law to which they write. And the fact that they don't want public indecent sex and drugs are illegal, you'd expect them to at least follow those laws. But of course, we're laughing, right? This is the United States government. Do they really follow their own laws? Of course not. But I think Madison Cawthorn is showing because he was primaried for calling that out. Then they end up releasing footage. I don't want to get into it. I don't like public drama. Some things happen in his personal life, nothing illegal. And they smashed him for it. Because remember, it's not about morality. It's about following the rules, which of course I'm not talking about the not have gay sex in a public Senate office. I'm talking about the rules for thee, but not for me, as in we do as I say, not as I do, which is Congress's favorite byline. In this case, it's not just bi, it's gay, and it happened in the congressional building. Now, speaking of who's getting heat for this, let's talk about this. The Democratic Senator Cardin's words came back to haunt him after staffer was fired following the gay porn scandal, and that's saying the very least. If the gay sex scandal rocking the Capitol these days proves nothing else, it shows that to some Democrats, there really is nothing sacred. That's the message from Maryland Senator Ben Cardin anyway, the now former employer of the man identified as being on the receiving end of the anal sex during the romp that was recorded in the Senate hearing room and reported Friday by the Daily Caller. Cardin is a guy who once took to the Senate floor to describe the U.S. Capitol as a sacred place, but he's singing a loyalty song now. In a video posted to X, we know about this. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to go down to this. I don't want to watch this. Look, that's the video. It's disgusting. It's graphic. We're not going to look at it. But he did say, and quote, that I refer to the U.S. Capitol as a sacred place or space because it's so much more than a building where the Senate and House of Representatives meet and conduct business. It's the embodiment of our ideals, our aspirations and hopes, not just to Americans, but also to all of humanity. Now those words should be coming back to haunt him. It's kind of funny how all of Congress talked about how the insurrection was such a devastation to the sacredness of the Capitol. But if you insert any erection into the crevices and the caverns of a young twink inside of the halls of Congress, then that's just, if you call that out, you're homophobic. Interesting. I remember when the shaman brought his pointy-tipped spear into the congressional rooms, that was considered an act of violence. All right, I'm done with the gay jokes. Let's move on to election news. There's a video associated with the story. We won't watch it, as you can watch it there. But Steve Bannon thinks that Trump will pick a female VP, names intriguing options. He goes on to say that while supporters of former President Trump may have been getting increasingly excited about the possibility of a certain former Fox News host being chosen as Trump's running mate, but one man has been very close to the former president's political thinking in the past. He has a message for those folks. Don't get your hopes up. Steve Bannon, who served as both the chief executive of Trump's 2016 campaign and as a senior advisor for the president after the election, told Sean Spicer on Thursday that he expected Trump to choose a woman as his potential vice president. He says, I think Tucker would make a great vice president. I think he's got a clear vision of what MAGA and America First are. He's got a very clear vision of the policies of it. He's savvy in politics, and he's got something that is so important today, the ability to communicate. But he goes on to say 10 potential female running mates. Kristi Noem, I think, will be very competitive, given our understanding of the MAGA movement, came out of the Tea Party very close to the president, as well as Elise Stefanik, Arkansas governor and former Trump press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and Nancy Moore. Well, that's interesting. I'm not sure I really agree with that, but I don't think a female candidate would be the best. I'm old school, and I think that the men should be leaders, but maybe you disagree with me and you think that men have really failed, and it's true. A lot of men have failed in leadership, and women have stepped up to fill the void. I just think that what we could use as men who fear God and the truth. But of course, I'm open to any woman who would continue to be better than any guy that we have currently in the Democrat Party. I mean, shoot. My 8-month-old son could do a better job than Biden at this point. I also wanted to point out some weird news that I'll mention only briefly. After being pushed out, since we're on a roll here, you notice Cawthorn was pushed out. Now let's talk about Santos. Former Representative George Santos hints that there are cages inside of House office buildings. Former Representative George Santos, in his most recent post on X, has hinted that there is a secret sex cages inside the House office building. In response to an overconfident Business Insider reporter, Santos shared that you seem too confident here. Should we be looking for some videos for you in the cages? He continued, you know what happens in cages doesn't stay there, right? Santos' comments were in response to Business Insider senior politics reporter Brian Metzger taking a jab at people who were not in the know about how many Senate hearing rooms are located inside the Capitol. Now you go on here. In response to Santos' comments, he responded, huh? He later shared that he was told where cages are storage rooms inside the House office buildings. Well, I'm sure more goes down inside of the cages than you would know. But I mean, these are humans. Humans like to have sex. But what do you expect? I mean, who doesn't expect this to be going on inside of the Senate office buildings? I know I do. These people are crazy. They are wet and they are wild, and they do anything except for actually help America drive forward. All they do is take our money and have sex with each other in storage rooms. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and if you were just as much weirded out by today's live stories as I was, please feel free to comment your feedback. What do you think should happen if people are having sex in the Senate hearing offices? Should they be arrested? I don't know. I'd love to hear your comments below. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.